Hey there, and welcome to Hot Seat. And we are here to explore the reasons of why. What's the why? What's the purpose? What drives business owners to do what they do? If it's what you're looking for, to get motivated, well, we look forward to sharing this episode with you. I'm your host, Kelvin Holiday, and I am enjoying the fact that we can explore people's why and motivate others. So stay tuned for this exciting new episode. 15 minutes, fast paced. Let's do it. Well, welcome folks to another adventure in the hot seat. And today we have a guy by the name of Tim Hyde, founder and chief fixer at Win More Clients. I've known Tim for quite some time, an absolute legend guy. He's actually down in cold Canberra at the moment. And mate, Tim, come on into the hot seat, buddy.
Thanks, Kel.
How are you, champion?
How's things?
Mate, I'm doing pretty dang well, mate.
You managed to find a photo of me with hair still.
Mate, it's okay. It's okay. You got the beanie happening. We're all good, mate. Well, my greys have finally had a bit of a trim up now after lockdown, so I'm all happy now.
You're looking fantastic, mate. Looking fantastic.
Mate, a little bit chubby in the cheek. I've got these COVID kilos that have turned up. So, mate, Win More Clients. Tell me a little bit of the journey, mate. You've actually been, you're really about the whole CRM and helping people to get their marketing and message out there right. But I guess I just wanted to know a little bit more about Tim. What got you started in this process, mate?
Look, mate, this journey, I've for a long time been interested in business, going back to maybe when I was 6 years old. I started a circus and thought this was how cool business was. It was lots of fun. I blew all my money on 1 cent lollies, and that was the best thing ever, right? You can remember 1 cent lollies. But and I tried a bunch of businesses as a teenager and did all sorts of things, and then I found myself, being in Canberra, going slowly brain dead in public service, and sort of looking around me and going, this could be the rest of my life, right? This could be very comfortable, 9 to 5, well paid sort of job, but it kind of, for me, lacked the excitement of the businesses I'd run in my youth. And I remember sort of late 90s, a mate of mine came to me and said, look, I've been on this website in the US, and I reckon we should create something like this for Canberra. We thought, fantastic, great idea, let's jump on and give this a go. And effectively we created, a community forum, right, which was loosely curated so that we had local content, but people could create their own profiles and post their own content and interact with each other and all that sort of stuff. Now, we now know that thing to be, it's got a name now. It's called social media, and it dominates pretty much every day of our life. But this is way back in 1999, 5 years before Facebook was a gleam in Mark Zuckerberg's eyes, and created this thing. And very quickly, I think because for whatever reason, people were starting to get this box in front of them in the workplace. The whole workplace was changing. How we interacted with other people was changing. I think now, the iPhone's only 10, 11 years old, 13 years old now, right? So, we're going back, pre-mobile phones when they were big bricks. So this box that was turning up in front of people's workplaces, on their desk, was the way that people started to find information and communicate. And that caused, I think, a massive shift in the way business operated. As we now know with 2020 hindsight. I still remember building my first website for the government department I worked for in 1996, 7-ish. And so it was really this interesting time to be involved in. And business was, trying to catch up with this shift of where consumers were now getting their information from. Right? And I still say it today, why do you need an website? It says, because that's where your customers are. Yeah. Right? Why do I need to be on social media? I hate social media, but your customers are there, so you need to be there too. The thing I kept finding, right? So we had this audience that we were building. We're trying to manage, I think, something like 200,000 relationships concurrently with a team of 4 people, plus all of our customers. And we were selling advertising, right? So we had this audience of people that advertisers wanted to get in front of. And the thing that I kept seeing from our clients was that they had a very, I guess, immature marketing process.
Yeah.
They were, assuming that they knew what message to put in front of that audience, it was put the message in front of it and then let's not worry about them later. It was just like they'd come back and say, oh, it didn't work. And I'm going, but 5,000 people clicked on your ad, right? And this was the first time in history you could get that granularity of understanding about what your advertising messages were actually doing. You couldn't get that before, right? It was like, we published 50 in this magazine, or we did that, and our distribution is this. But you couldn't really tell exactly how effective a particular message was. And this was, we were seeing, if I put this word in your ad or a change in the red background, this one's more effective. If I do this sized ad, it'd be different. The thing that I kept seeing as the next hole in this process was that people didn't have depth of relationship with the traffic that they were attracting. And anyway, so long story short, left that business in 2013. I saw a shift in the advertising market and suggested my partners do something different. They didn't want to, so they bought me out. And I was bumming around doing, whatever. I didn't know what I was going to do when I grew up. Like I guess a lot of us do in business. When we close one chapter. And I just kept getting clients coming back to me that we'd worked with and said, that stuff you were talking to us about in terms of marketing maturity, right, and managing relationships, do you think you could sort of do some work with us on that? And that's really what sort of got me into the CRM space. Because, we'd see people in their personal lives manage relationships. Right? You have an onboarding experience when you get married, right? It's a honeymoon and an engagement party and a wedding, right? And if you want that relationship to keep going, you've got to remember flowers and chocolates and anniversaries and all sorts of other stuff as well. But in business, we didn't see that, and certainly as I was sort of, buying my first house and getting engaging trades and stuff, I'd engage these businesses to try and give them money, right? The lifeblood of business. But they somewhere along the process forget about it. I'm like, well, do you want my money or not?
Yeah.
Right. And this was repeatedly the thing that I kept seeing. It didn't matter what your business was. It didn't matter whether a government department or a garage band or a plumber, electrician, lawyer, e-commerce store, whatever it was. It was very transactional based. Very, very transactional based. Right? It was advertise, take my money, see you later. Right? And then it kept getting left to me to go back and buy from them again. I think this is a bit silly, right? This is a very inefficient way to do stuff. It would kind of just remind me of all the inefficiency I kept seeing when I was working in the government. It said that, but if you want to, why are relationships in business suddenly different from the relationships we have personally? Right? They shouldn't be. There's a lot of work that goes into getting married to someone. And likewise, there's a lot of work that goes into kind of winning that business in the first place, or winning those clients in the first place. There's got to be a more efficient and effective way that if we're going to run a business, that we can make it work for us and deliver us the sort of lifestyle and impact that we want to create from that business.
Mate, I love that. I think like win more clients, that's I would almost change your name to say win over more clients. It's more, that's a relationship building stuff. And we hear this like CRM, customer relationship management system. That's what it's a relationship management system, but so often, businesses use it as a sales tool. As you said, transactional. They send it out there. You want to buy this? Yes, no, that's it. But what you're saying is, and this is what I've always seen in the way in which you work with your clients and even the emails that I receive, it's more about how you're going. Is there something I can help with? Where are you at? Rather than, do you want to buy my stuff? So it's actually about the person rather than about what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, something, we're doing some new things with lead generation for clients at the moment, but there's a thing that I think that we often miss when we go into sales, right? There's only two ways to grow our business, right? We either try and reach more people, and that's fine, right? But it's a very expensive proposition to reach more people. We know that only a small percentage of people that we reach today will be ready to buy from us. It's not that they won't buy from us. It's just that the thing that we can fix for them isn't today's priority.
Yes.
Okay. So like my today's priority is being on, this hot seat, and I've got to submit some medical documentation for my wife at the moment. And, I've got to catch up with my team later on, and I've got a couple of client calls, right? So someone who comes at me and says, like I've had this morning, do you want to look at my, conversation thing to grow your business from 6 to 7 figures? Of course I want to do that, right? But it's not today's priority.
Yes.
And probably not even tomorrow's priority. I've got to make sure that my kid gets through his homeschooling today as well, right? I've got other stuff on. Now, tomorrow, next day, I've got other things on. And it's not that I don't want to achieve that outcome, but next week, I'm going to forget who that person is who's reached out to me today. In fact, I've already forgotten their name. But it's not that I haven't changed my desire. So when someone else comes along and says, do you want to do this? I'll be like, oh yeah, okay. That's a priority for me today.
Yes.
But, it's like a tennis match, right? If I want to have a tennis match, sometimes I've got to teach my partner how to hit the ball back to me. And so
Yes.
old mate who's messaged me this morning should be reaching out to me next week as well, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week, to stay top of mind, so that when I am ready to buy, here is someone who's potentially been providing value, in my world, and give me hints and tips. I'm going, yeah, I know, like, and trust you, right? We don't want to be on calls with people who don't have a problem, don't recognize us as the expert who can fix that problem, and don't like us enough to want to let us fix it for them.
Yes.
Okay. All of those things come from depth of relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm just going to shift gears here, and I remember a post you put out, and it still to this day impacts me. And I've seen you with a punching bag and your punching gloves on, and you're talking about the sucker punch, the methodology.
Jab, right hook.
Jab, right hook, jab, left hook, whatever. What's the mentality behind? Just tell us a little bit about it. And if anybody ever heard I used to call it the sucker punch method, jab, whatever you like to call it. Tell me, when you talk about relationship, building relationship, so important, adding value, so important. Tell us a little bit more about that methodology that you've used and you've articulated in that particular Facebook page so well. Yeah,
look, I think it's this thing, okay? And again, it comes back to that know, like, trust mentality, right? Unless you're in a business like a plumber, where there's a clear and present need, right? There's shit flowing out of my toilet, or the house is burning down, and I'm just going to go, I need help right now with this thing. Most of us aren't in that space. Okay?
Yes.
I don't need a new accountant today. I don't need a new lawyer. I don't really need a new employee today. I don't, it's stuff I can put off till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when we in that space, we have to start building relationship, right? To be more effective, even if it's a very short one, right? Even if let's go back to when there wasn't Yellow Pages, and you'd sort of flip through and think, I need someone to do something, and I'll flip through the Yellow Pages. More often than not, we'll still ask friends and colleagues and saying, hey, do you know somebody who does this particular thing, right? We're trying to make our life easy by simplifying the selection process.
Yes.
Okay. You trust this person, so therefore I will. Right. We don't just want to go to the Yellow Pages and pick someone out at random, maybe or maybe not get a good job. We need a little bit more trust. In the same way that in our personal relationships, we don't generally propose on the first date. We certainly don't go up to someone and say, hey, we should have 10 kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because chances are that they're going to run a mile, and if the same thing happened in reverse to us, we would probably do the same thing as well. But if we start that journey by giving a little value, all right? If I was going to get married again, I wouldn't start with, let's have 10 kids. It'd be, you're a nice looking lass. Can I buy you a drink?
Yes.
Okay. That's the jab. It's the first thing. Would you like to dance? That's the second thing. Can we go over there and chat more? That's the third thing, right? That's the third jab. Can I have your phone number? Okay, there's your right hook. That's your call to action. And in business, we do the same. We need to do the same thing. We need to build a relationship, because most of our audience is not ready to buy from us today. Okay, if you think about the connections you've got on social media right now, might be 600, it might be 1,000 people. It's not like the 1,000 people in your current network don't have a problem that you can fix. It's just not today's problem. And if you're not top of mind when they want it fixed, they're not going to think of you, and they're going to go to somebody else.
Yeah, good. Mate, last one for you. So you've been in this, you've told us about your love business, you know, the systemology you have is outstanding. I guess if you were to say that to any business owner out there, whether it be the 6-year-old self or the, you know, you're probably a little bit older than 6 years old now, you know.
Yeah, a little bit.
What would be the one thing about, you know, your purpose for going into business or whatever it might be? What would be the one piece of advice you could actually offer the listeners about, you know, following their pathway or their desire to go into business? What's the one thing? What's your why, or how do you start?
Certainly my why is I mean, the older I get, the more it's to create an impact. Right?
Yeah.
You know, and I create my impact through the success of other people creating impact on their life. Now, I don't care whether it's the whole world you want to impact, or, you know, just your family life, or just your life, or whatever, or your particular passion. But I think as business owners, we deserve to be successful. Right? We are the people out there really trying to, you know, change the world and really grab life by the, you know, like the bull, you know, horns on a bull, right? And wrestle it to where we want to go, right? And I think we deserve all the success that we should get, right? We deserve to know how to wrestle that bull, right? And create that impact. But the piece of advice I'd probably give actually came from ironically, it might have been a YouTube video or something I saw on Facebook. I think it was on Facebook. And it was a young Asian guy who was talking about some advice that he received from his father. And this particularly resonated with me. Very well spoken young man. And he was talking about books. He was talking about the impact that books had on his life. And he said, you can go through life. Life is like this battle, this war, I guess, right? And throughout your life, you're going to face lots and lots of different battles. Right? Now, you can face them by yourself, right? But your chances of succeeding through life really depends on you building, you know, not just armor, but an army of soldiers that can help you fight that battle for you. And reading books is like that, right? It's like taking someone's condensed experience, and I know you've written a bunch of books that I've read as well, but every time you read somebody's book, it's like adding another life experience, right? Adding a soldier to your army full of life experience. And the more that you read from other people, the more life experiences and perspectives you have, so that every new battle that you face throughout your life, the more perspective that you'll get, the more likely you are to succeed at those.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Yeah. It's not about a single journey, is it? It's about, you know, the more people in your network, the more people you have around, mate, the better it gets. So, Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure not just to have you here, but have you in my life. Yeah, you've been one of my cohorts, my battle warriors along the way, and mate, I've been greatly appreciated in that time, that friendship we've been able to grow. And I hope that people out there really see the heart and soul of this man. Win more clients is his business, but win more hearts and make some more impact in the world is what his core cry is, and his why. So, mate, thank you very much for being on the hot seat. Mate, take it easy and try and keep cool down in Canberra, mate.
Thanks, Gil.
You take care of yourself. And that's all, folks, for today's hot seat. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Tim here with us today, sharing us a little bit about his win more clients, his whole attitude towards wanting to make a bigger impact in this world.
Thanks for joining us here at Hot Seat. It's been an amazing, amazing event. It is a place where you can actually enjoy and be inspired by the why of others, the drive of the purpose and the passion. Please like and share this podcast with as many people as you can to inspire them to make a difference in this world. Have an awesome day. Unleash.